Trump, Netanyahu, and the Gaza Spectacle. A scripted act in a larger play for Donald Trump to have ever publicly floated the idea that the United States could purchase the Gaza Strip, flatten it, and turn it into a massive development project, complete with luxury resorts, is not the casual rambling of an unfiltered mind. It is not merely another off-the-cuff statement from a man who says whatever is on his mind. Rather, it is a pre-planned maneuver, an idea that had been workshopped, studied, and prepared long before it was ever spoken into the public sphere. The fact that Trump not only suggested the purchase, but also proposed the forced relocation of over 2 million Palestinians, even implying that American troops could be used if necessary, is not the language of improvisation. These are not the words of a man spitballing policy ideas. They are the words of someone following a script, someone who had been briefed, consulted, and prepared for a performance, one that had been in the works long before his potential second term. But if the content of his statement was startling, the reaction of Benjamin Netanyahu was even more telling. Watching Netanyahu's face as this was revealed was akin to seeing a trained performer executing a rehearsed scene. This was not shock. This was not genuine surprise. This was theater, carefully crafted and strategically deployed. And why wouldn't it be? Netanyahu is not just an Israeli politician. He is an American media operative. Born in New York City in 1949, he spent his formative years in the U.S. before moving to Israel in adulthood. His career as a public figure did not begin in politics. It began in front of the camera. Netanyahu was a TV personality and news anchor, working in New York national news during the 1970s, mastering the craft of media messaging, scripted delivery, and the calculated use of dramatic reactions. He is not just an Israeli prime minister. He is an American-trained media professional who understands how to manipulate a televised narrative. Which brings us back to the performance we just witnessed. Trump, the reality TV mogul, and Netanyahu, the former New York news anchor, are both seasoned American media figures. They know how to sell a story. They understand the mechanics of a staged reaction, the need for dramatic beats, the power of a well-timed reveal. This was not politics as usual. This was a television production designed for maximum narrative impact. And yet, beneath the layers of spectacle, there lies a more disturbing truth. The deliberate distance that Trump, Netanyahu, and their allies place between Israel and Gaza in their rhetoric is not an accident. It is a strategic separation, designed to frame Gaza as something foreign and expendable, something to be sold, relocated, wiped clean, and rebuilt in an American vision. But Gaza is not a distant, disconnected land. It is, in reality, a part of Israel's unresolved war with itself. Israel refuses to acknowledge this. Through its policy of apartheid, it denies that Gaza is its own creation, its own trapped population, its own moral reckoning. If Gaza were truly separate, as these leaders pretend, why would there be no serious objections to the idea of it being purchased? No country in the world would tolerate an open conversation about selling off part of its land. Imagine if an American president suggested purchasing Jerusalem. The reaction would be immediate and fierce. But Gaza? Silence. Why? Because in the eyes of these power brokers, Gaza is not truly Israel, and yet it is also not allowed to be anything else. This is the grand illusion, the carefully curated narrative that allows Israel and the U.S. to operate as one entity while pretending to be distinct. The Gaza Strip is framed as a problem that can be solved by an external force, whether through destruction, relocation, or reconstruction in the image of Western luxury. But this is not an American business deal. This is not a purchase and remodel project. This is the continuation of a war that Israel refuses to name, the war of Israel against itself. Trump and Netanyahu understand their roles in this play. They are not leaders caught off guard. They are actors, delivering their lines to an audience primed for spectacle. The question is not whether they mean what they say. The question is why they are choosing to say it now, and what they are setting the stage for next.